Hey there, it's Fight here with a mini case study / rant at the same time. So I want to show you some good stuff and some bad stuff at the same time. So what you see on the screen here is an ad by Russ Ruffino Live. So as you can see, it's a sponsored post. It popped up in my timeline and I read through it and I thought, well, this is quite interesting. So I then went through and clicked on the ad and ended up on the following page. There we go, how to build a seven-figure online business. Okay, cool. As you know, I'm a sort of, sales funnel geek and I wanted to see what they're doing. Anyway, the first thing to notice is the copy up here did actually pull me in, and that's usually the first sign for me that this is something that's working. So I then step out, put on a different hat and start looking at what they're doing. And really what they're doing is a quite nice thing, so this is well worth copying. Basically, there's how-to. People love how we go to an insanely large number. Okay, very cool. That appeals to a lot of people. So we're now hooked. Got their attention. Then very, very big, very quick, it goes into, well, here all the stuff you don't need to do, right? Because you might think, well, 500k, that sounds great, but if it means a lot of work I can't even afford to do, or where I don't have the time or bandwidth or experience, well, it turns out we don't need to do any of this here. And the cool thing is he basically targets those things that this particular market has been told all the time. You need to go and publish a book. You need to have a podcast. You need to do launches. You need to be very active on social media. You need to have a great brand. All these things, all that stuff is commonly accepted wisdom in that marketplace. And as a result, of course, now I'm interested. I can make all that money, and my initial question was, well, but don't I need to do all of that? Whoever they are, the big gurus who tell me I need to do this, whether it's clientattraction.com or whether it's what's the big I keep forgetting his name. Oh well, there you go. So basically all the big names, Christian Michelson, they all tell coaches that they need to do this kind of thing. So Russ Ruffino says lots of money without doing this. Turns out there is one thing, and the one thing is basically we can do all of that around just one webinar. Now, if you're thinking, yeah, Fight, you're again talking without taking any breath, one breath hold, 5 minutes of talking. This is the bit what you should be paying attention to. Their big promise here is you can do that with just one thing. Develop one webinar, one off, and you're done. And this is extremely powerful to a typically overwhelmed audience. And this is not specific to the sort of coaching crowd. It's almost anyone who's starting to do online marketing. They're overwhelmed by all the stuff out there. So anyone who now promises or shows them, actually this is bigger picture. It's not just marketing. I mean, anyone who wants to learn, acquire a new skill, and do something that really makes a big difference in their lives, they're typically overwhelmed by all the information out there. I mean, this information overload is not a new thing, but it's getting worse and worse. So to be able to say, actually, you can drop all the other stuff, everything you believe or you're being told you need to do, and you can drop it and replace it by one thing, is an extremely powerful message. And that's why I'm kind of going on and on about this one thing. Have a think. What is the one thing that could replace absolutely everything? I'll give you another example. If you could go out and say, well, this whole online marketing thing, forget it. All you need to do is basically write one email a day. Now, I didn't come up with that. It's Ryan Lee who basically pitched and sold another course on exactly that. One email a day. That's it. People can wrap their head around that one. Okay, I can write one email. If that means I can drop all this other stuff, then, I'm fine, I can do that. So anyway, this is why it's so powerful. There's a big promise at the beginning. There is, by the way, you can do all of that without doing all the stuff that immediately comes to mind. And instead you replace it by this one thing. And, now we go in and go and check it out. Now, by the way, there's a little PS here at the end and says, just in case you think that the figures we have are too big to you, well, actually we took this, and now it has that sort of real feeling to it, to first go to a medium-sized number, then a bigger number, and now, of course, to the very big number. So immediately, if my objection is, well, okay, even if I could do this, well, this kind of works for you because you are at the 500k a month level. Well, they're saying that's not the case. And if you've read Cialdini's Persuasion, there's always, wherever the focus is, people attribute some kind of causality, and they're taking care of that in here. So from that perspective, this is an absolutely brilliant ad, and I recommend you go and model this. And then unfortunately it goes downhill, and that's basically my little rant, and it's where we are here in this thing. I mean, I tell you what, it goes downhill in the sense of now it goes into being all exploitative. What they're doing in here is the classic sort of NLP turning the table and saying, well, it's actually you are only a good person if you invest in yourself. This particular picture here at this segment at 7.5 minutes into the first video, he talks about, well, you know, if you want to attract clients who don't invest in themselves, you're attracting the wrong kinds of clients. They are not the kind of action takers you want in your life. And immediately, you know, this is sort of an evil NLP trick. People go, ooh, I must invest in myself to attract good clients. And of course, that's exactly what they want to do. So my video comes to a quick, a swift conclusion now. And that is basically, sadly, almost everybody out there does one of two things. Either they go out and say, oh, I can show you how to attract clients. And then what they do is at the end, there are bonuses and there's scarcity. If you don't sign up now, evil things are going to happen. If you don't sign up now, the price will go up. You know, all the classic old style Cialdini stuff will happen to you if you don't sign up now. So it's either that, or they do the evil NLP stuff, which is basically turn the whole story around and say, well, you're only a good person if you invest in yourself. And what better person to invest with than Russ Ruffino? And both of those are, in my opinion, exploitative and evil and should be kicked to the curb like a moldy potato. There you go. On that very happy note, I encourage you to do something like this here. I mean, this is kind of essential that you grab people and handle their early objections very, very quickly, because otherwise your ad will just drown out in the other noise. But because you're making a promise, then please go and deliver on that promise, instead of just basically using this as a sort of, you know, ooh, there's sex and free beer, and then you hit them over the head with something and, you know, only let them out of the cage if they don't pay up. So, great starting point, because that's one of the best ways of getting people's attention, but then, you know, fails badly by basically doing exploitative stuff. Alrighty, enjoy. Oh, by the way, on this topic here, maybe as a little PS, when you look at this ad, I don't know how long this has run, but as you can see down there is a handful of likes. Where was it? 11 others or 12 people like it. There was one comment which isn't that great, which is the link isn't working, and one share. This is okay, but it's not fabulous. I'm, at the moment, going through a course by Ben Atkins, and it is fabulous. And it basically works on exactly this stuff down here. How to get more likes and more comments and more shares. And that is important not just for the ego, but also because it helps you get much lower cost per click from Facebook. So, if you're interested, I'll be sending out an email in the next couple of days. Alrighty, cheers, bye.